Dougal, what I wanted to ask is you hear so much about the numbers, 150s, 200s, 220s. What are we really talking about here?
Okay, great question, Jeff. And I might add a much misunderstood subject.
Absolutely.
And abused subject. But let's, if I may, I'll give a little clarification to it. The micron count of the raw merino wool fiber can be measured in the fiber diameter. Now, for instance, Super 120s is 17.5 micron or finer. And so on it goes down, and the very finest there is that Holland Sherry has ever had is Super 220s, which is actually just around 13.5 micron.
Wow.
But that is only part of the story.
Right.
You know, the fineness of the fiber, you know, like this one here, which has got cashmere and silk in it, we were talking about.
Yeah.
This one is Super 150s, and it's got a wonderful hand. This one here, this is a Super 120s. So this one is 17.5 micron.
Right.
It's not as fine feeling, but this is a beautiful worsted tropical Panama, you know, the most simple of weaves. It's very nice. But in all the cloths that Holland Sherry creates, and it is a project of creation of a cloth, we look for other things. It's not just the fineness. The length of the fiber is very important. You know, if you have short fibers, the cloth won't perform properly. It might even pill. So we go for the micron, but also the length of the fiber. Thirdly is the strength of the fiber. It's very important, especially with lighter weight cloths, that the tensile strength of the fiber, and we test this, is sufficient to withstand a certain degree of stress. So in the seams of the suit, when you tailor it, hold very firmly.
Right.
So you've got the length, you've got the strength, and then another thing is the crimp. Now, you might say, well, what's crimp? Crimp is literally the natural elasticity of the wool fiber.
Right.
And we like lots of elasticity. And that means that literally it's kind of like having curly hair. When you take a fiber and you stretch it out, the curliness, so to speak, straightens out.
Right.
But and then when you let go of it, it springs back. So it has a natural memory, a spring, literally.
Thus the wrinkle resistance.
The wrinkle resistance, exactly. And that's what you like so much, and ultimately your customers like so much. And then there's one last thing which we look for in a fiber, and that's its natural luster.
Right.
You can take the luster away from a fiber, but you can't add it. So when you've got a cloth which you want to have that rich, lustrous finish to it, like for instance, I've got a cloth here. This is a sateen.
Okay.
Sateen weave. This one here.
Oh yeah.
And this is a wonderful evening cloth for a formal occasion.
Oh yeah, I love this.
This has natural luster. You can't put that into the cloth. You can enhance it to some degree in the finishing of the cloth.
This is fantastic.
See, this, if I can just say this to me, this is a sateen effect in a collection we call Venetian. This cloth has everything you can possibly put into it.
Wow.
Of the 43 processes that a worsted fiber goes through to get to the finished cloth, this has been perfectly optimized.
Wow.
You know, and I know you've used this cloth for tuxedos.
Absolutely.
It's a beauty. It's Super 140s with cashmere and in fact a little touch of silver mink.